as you're well aware at this point in time, well, those of you who frequent and watch my videos and my live streams, I am the kind of guy that really, at the end of the day, all I'm trying to do here, folks, is help clarify things for anyone who does watch my videos or pay attention to my content. Because what it is, I recognize that there is a tremendous amount of misinformation, propaganda, and rhetoric out there that I know, I can completely understand why so many people are confused and confounded as to how things are properly unfolding, or even acknowledge what the big old world around them is all about, because they've been given so much bullshit information that most people, like I say, they just basically throw their hands up, avoid talking about this stuff entirely, or, as I've heard so many times before, simply repeat and regurgitate political talking points or headlines out of establishment media, institution, or outlets without ever digging down into the nuance of it and figuring out what any of this stuff means. Well, that's what I try to do on a regular and continuing basis, and hopefully help better expand the mindset or how people think about and perceive some of the issues that definitely affect each and every one of us. And today what I'm going to be referencing is an article at a CBC in regards to the housing market in this country. Now, I've done many past videos referencing the massively overinflated housing market bubble in this country. But in this particular example, in this particular article, the reason why I'm covering it is the fact that about 3/4 down into the article, there's a paragraph that speaks volumes, yet most people never get to actually reading that aspect or even having any semblance of understanding about what is or what things are greatly contributing to this massively inflated housing market that's priced entire generations out of it entirely and are forcing them to put off having families or becoming responsible adults. That too has a profound effect on society going forward. Massive, I'll add. I mean, we've heard all kinds of rhetoric, all kinds of people out there wanting to play the game, blame game, and suggest that it's foreign buyers, right, or this or that. I mean, you've heard some excuses or some examples of people who are suggesting why the housing market is the way it is. And I will admit, there are multiple contributing factors. But the two things that are the most dominant contributing factors are actually acknowledged in this article, and something you really need to learn and understand. Headline on the CBC News Business Analysis: COVID-19 has made reading next year's real estate market harder than ever. Condo slump and borrowing glut making some nervous about lasting damage. Reported by Don Pittis, December 14th, 2020. And yeah, Don, as much as he's a Keynesian acolyte, big fan of central planning and big government, even he, just like a broken clock, can be right once in a while. But in reality, all it is he's just pointing out the obvious. But like I say, at the very least, someone within the establishment is at least putting that information out there. Not for the purpose that I'm trying to, but at the very least, the information is there. Canadians are about to get an update on the state of the housing market, and the latest resurgence of COVID-19 has only added another layer of confusion to a year of uncertainty over where real estate prices will go in 2021. On Tuesday, the Canadian Real Estate Association is expected to roll out its latest sales figures and prices for resale homes. And while most property watchers see a continuing short-term trend of weakening high-rise condo prices and increasing low-rise prices, the longer-term impact of the pandemic remains far less certain. An informal sampling of economists who keep an eye on the residential real estate market shows a range of views based on considerations related to how long the impact of the disease will last, including rock-bottom borrowing rates and whether buyers will continue to bid up the price of low-rise homes most in demand. When it comes to residential real estate, price changes have a big effect on ordinary people for whom a home is a place to live, not just an investment. But even then, for most people, a home remains their largest lifetime purchase. And unlike other investments, managing real estate is relatively complex and demanding. Agreed. Anyways, folks, I won't bore you too much with this stuff because, like I say, I get, not a whole lot of people want to get into the nuances of all this stuff. But let's get right to the most important part, like I say, is what is contributing to this massively overvalued and inflated housing market in this country that no matter what, even after 9-10 months of COVID and basically shutting down half of the economy almost, right? Apparently the market still in bubbly territory. Like, how does that happen, right? Well, we know how that has happened, right? We've actually heard from some of these other media institutions, or even the CBC themselves have reported on, well, yeah, it's because of like CEWS or CERB, all these government stimulus programs or these bailouts to prop everyone up while COVID is spreading across the land, right? Yeah, they've been basically putting off the day of reckoning or the inevitable for Canadians who are massively indebted, spending way far outside their means, and barely, just barely keeping their head above water economically and financially. So, I mean, like I say, the day of reckoning is going to come. It's just a matter of when. But central planners are still looking for any tool in their belt or any weapon in their arsenal to maintain it for as long as they can. How long is that going to take? I don't know. Neither do you, and neither does anyone else. Once again, it's pure speculative. Some people have more information at their disposal that can make a much more informed opinion. Yeah, for sure. But nobody knows for certain. That is actually the only thing that is certain. Anyways, let me get down here, like I say, to the point or the portion of this article. Like I say, you got to go way, way down here, folks, to the section where the top part of it in bold black says going a little further away. And anyways, like I say, so you'll see right here, this one paragraph, and it just speaks so much. It speaks volumes, right? And it's something that, like I say, this is the kind of information that you really, really need to understand. And once you understand, or at least hear it, start to really think critically about who are the contributors, what's causing all this, right? Because it's having a lot of pain. Now, sure, there's a lot big time gain for some people, right? You know, if you can sell that house that you bought, last year and make another $50,000 in just one short year off it because it magically increased by that much in terms of the valuation, that's a benefit for you, right? But if you're someone on the other side of that equation and now the house that you want to buy is $50,000 more, that's bad for you. So once again, it's all about perspective at the end of the day. But anyways, like I say, so let's get to it. Quote, "The long term really matters for the homes we buy to live in for decades at a time. And while high levels of immigration have helped push up demand in recent years, and falling interest rates have helped lift prices, not everyone is convinced those two things are going to continue." Well, I'll just say, first and foremost, well, I would definitely agree on that not everyone is convinced that those two things are going to continue on indefinitely. That I'll definitely agree. But I would also suggest that those two things are detrimental and massively negative for certain people, in particular the younger people in society, and a boom or a benefit for a lot of the boomer cohort or some of the older demographics or the wealthy and connected in this country. So there's another great divide, folks, that, like I say, I'm pointing out. Don's not necessarily going to point out, but I will. So there it is. I'm just going to repeat it one more time so that it'll really sink in. Like I say, you can use this as well, information to push back against anyone that suggests, it's just foreign speculators or foreign buyers that's contributed to this. Well, once again, and this is just one of a multitude of times in the past, and I've referenced it in past videos and streams as well, of how many times, even the central bank, even the Bank of Canada, Stephen Polis, I remember at the time, even come out and basically admitted the same thing, that yes, central bank policy and putting interest rates at these rock bottom levels, that's what is enticing people to bid up these homes and play in the speculative market in terms of the housing market in this country. So anyways, like I said, let me just repeat it one more time. The long term really matters for the homes we buy to live in for decades at a time. High levels of immigration have helped push up demand in recent years, and falling interest rates have helped lift prices. Not everyone is convinced those two things are going to continue. Well, we'll say, send the link of the description of this stream as well. I'll find it here. I don't have it pulled up right now. But 1.2 million more immigrants are going to Canada. Yeah, even under COVID, right? Over the next 3 years, the Trudeau regime, the Trudeau Liberals, are still hell-bent on bringing in another 1.2 million Canadians over the next 3 years. Well, it seems that they're more than willing to keep stimulating and having people outbidding each other and pricing houses further and further out of a substantial portion of the younger demographic in this country. So once again, the evidence is there which suggests, at the very least, that this could go on for quite some time longer. And like I say, think about the long-term, not just the immediate, but the long-term implications of having Not just millennials, but maybe at that point in time, Gen Zers all living in their parents' basement and not going out and creating a life of their own and becoming independent individuals. It's a sad, sad tale of a division that very few people want to talk about, but I will. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.